Hi, this is Philip with G6 Technology Services. In this video, we're going to be taking another look at our Inspiron 1000 that we looked at in a previous video. We're going to wipe the hard drive and reinstall a fresh copy of Windows XP. So let's get started. Okay, so here's our Inspiron 1000. And so a customer actually approached me about this computer, and they would like to buy it to use for some software that apparently has to run on a 32-bit version of Windows XP, and they don't want to run it in a VM for whatever reason. So this would be a good computer for that. It's in great shape. The battery still holds a charge, so we're just going to get it set up. It did come from a previous customer, so I've got our DBAN CD over here. We're just going to write a couple of passes of zeros or something on the hard drive to get rid of whatever data the other customer had on there, and then we'll format the drive and install Windows XP. So let's go ahead and pop this disk in, and we'll turn it on, press F12 to get into our boot menu. We'll select CD drive. Okay, there we go. So this is, if you're not familiar with DBAN, this is what it stands for up there, Derek's Boot and Nuke. And the sole purpose of this is to provide an easy way to boot up off of the disk, so you don't have to start up off of your hard drive, then you can't erase the whole thing. And you can erase an entire hard drive. It's not recommended for use on solid-state drives, but for traditional spinning hard drives, it's a great utility. And you can have it write zeros or other random data over the drive any number of times up to your liking, to be able to securely remove the data that's on there, because if you're not already aware, just erasing or reformatting the drive doesn't remove the data. And in newer versions of Windows, I think Windows 7, Windows 10, if you do a full format, I think it does write one pass of zeros over the disk, but which should be fine in most cases. But if you really have personal sensitive information on there, I would recommend doing more than one pass of zeros. Maybe one of the options that writes the random data, and do, I think the accepted minimum level is 7 passes of writing that data on there. So we'll go ahead and start this up. Alright, so it's loaded up here. So we'll take a look at some of the options. So we have here is the complete list of options. So the only thing that we really need to worry about is the method. So we'll go, if you look at the bottom, it says how to change that. So it's M for method. So we'll go ahead and hit M, and then this shows us all the different options that are available. There's quick erase, and that just fills the device with zeros. Then there's this method from the RCMP, the DoD short, DoD 5220. Then there's this one and this one that we're not going to be using in this case. The instructions here say that the PRNG stream is the most secure method, but we're not really concerned with that at this moment. There wasn't anything really sensitive on here. So we're just going to go with the DoD short. That should be perfectly fine for this application. So that's going to write data 3 times over the disk, and that will wipe out anything that's currently on the disk and make it difficult to recover it in the future. So here we'll go and press, what is it, space, to select our disk. See how it says wipe next to it. And then to start, it wants us to hit F10, so we'll go ahead and do that. And there it goes. So as we can see, It is going, but very slowly. So that's going to take some time. We have some statistics up here, and it estimates that it's going to take 2 hours. So I'll just stop this video and we'll come back when it's finished, because that's going to make for a very boring video staring at the screen for 2 hours. And that also shows you, I don't think I talked about it when we were looking over the different methods, this is only with 3 passes. So if you were going to do this with 7 passes, it would take over twice as long, probably about 5 or 6 hours, something like that. So in this case, 3 passes is more than enough security for this use case, and I don't want to spend too much time waiting around for this. So I'll stop here and we'll come back whenever this is finished, and I'll let you know if it really, well, it'll say up here what the actual time is, but I'm curious to know how accurate that runtime or the remaining counter is. So we'll let that go and we'll be back. Okay, so it's finished up now, and we can see here that it says it succeeded. All selected disks have been wiped. So that's all that we'll need to do to prepare the hard drive. So now we can go ahead and install Windows XP. So I'll go ahead and get this shut down, and then we'll put in our Windows XP disk. Okay, so we're back here with our Inspiron 1000. And it's actually been quite some time since the first half of this video, so I don't remember exactly where we were, but I think we finished erasing the hard drive and we're getting ready to install Windows XP. So that's what we're going to do. I've got our Windows XP Restore CD right here. So just so I don't miss the startup options, I'm going to go ahead and just pop the CD tray before I turn the computer on with our handy dandy paper clip. We'll go ahead and get our Windows XP CD loaded up. Then we'll go ahead and turn on our computer and start hitting F12, which I hope is the right button. I think that's what it is on Dell. Yep, entering boot menu. This is really dark. Alright, CD-ROM drive, enter. Oh, press any key to boot from CD. That's really dim. Oh, I forgot to turn on our power supply, so it was just operating on battery. So that's good. That's a little brighter now. So this will just be our standard Windows setup, and I'm going to go ahead and just put the camera on the tripod just so we can get a nice steady shot of this. Okay, so it's just loading all of the files and drivers and whatever it needs. So, okay, setup is starting. So we should be getting right into it. There we go, so we'll press enter to continue, and F8 to agree. And then we're going to hit escape for don't repair. And we'll go ahead and delete the partition and hit enter, and L to confirm the deletion. And that was because, I don't remember, again, like I said, it's been a little while since the first part of the video, but there's some stuff that got cut out because I tried to install Windows XP on this computer, and there was a problem with the installation disk. It got most of the way done, and then it wouldn't go past that. It had error messages, so I have a new disk now, so that's why there was a partition on there even after we had erased it securely. So we're going to go ahead now and just hit enter to install in our unpartitioned space, and we'll do a quick format, and we'll wait for that to finish. Okay, now we're copying some files, so we'll go ahead and come back when this is finished. Okay, our installation is just finishing up this first stage. We're in the final 10% now, so it shouldn't be too much longer. And then we'll move into the next phase where it reboots, and we have that nice Windows XP setup screen. Okay, and we'll press enter to reboot. And we don't want to boot from the CD. I don't actually remember if the CD is required or if we were supposed to have removed it. But here's our first Windows XP startup screen that is going to load into the rest of the setup. Okay, an exciting new look. Yes, it was. I was very excited for Windows XP when that came out. It was a huge step forward visually coming from Windows 98. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite desktop operating systems. I think it would be really cool if Microsoft would design a theme pack for Windows 10 that made it look like Windows XP, but I don't think they're very likely to do that. And I know there are some not officially supported ways to do that, but it would be kind of neat if they would just release that, because it has a lot of nostalgia for people, I think. So anyway, I'll let this run for a few minutes just so we can see some of the screens that come up during the setup, but I won't leave it rolling the entire time. We'll skip through some of this because it does take a considerable amount of time, and no reason to sit here and watch it do that for 39 minutes is what it says approximately. Alright, so this is the regional and language options. So we're just going to go with the default options of the United States and English. And then here's where we'll put in our registered person's name and organization. So you can just put in whatever you want. I'm just going to put admin and then leave the organization blank. And then we'll leave the password blank for now. This is going to a customer and I don't know what they're going to want, so we'll just leave it empty and then they can set up a password after they receive the computer. And we'll also leave the computer name the same. That's something interesting. I forgot about the auto computer name because that's something that Windows 10 does also. It sets your computer name to, well, it doesn't use the username, but it's part of the it just says desktop and then a bunch of stuff at the end of it. So I'd forgotten that Windows XP did that also. But we'll go ahead and just leave that also, because we'll let the customer change it after they receive it. Okay, and then we'll go and set our date and time, which, let's see, are we able to... Okay, good, we can just type that in. And it is not Christmas. Let's see, it's, how do you change that? Okay. March. What is it today? Oh, it's the 10th. Tuesday, March 10th. And what time is it? 7:28 p.m. 28. And then our time zone, we're in Central. And next. Alright, and then we've got some more components that it's installing. It's working on the network right now. This laptop does have an Ethernet port built in, so hopefully there's a driver available on that and it works right out the gate. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go to a different computer to find the driver so we can get that installed so we can get the rest of the drivers downloaded. Okay, next thing it's asking is for our network settings, so we're just going to go with typical, and we'll just leave it in the work group. And looks like it's copying more files, so I guess we did need to leave that CD in there, so that's a good thing. I don't know if it's picking it up in the video, you can hear that CD drive whirring away. Alright, it wants to adjust our screen resolution, so we'll just click OK. That looks good to me. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Click Next. I think there's supposed to be some music playing, but maybe the driver's not installed for the audio. Oh well. We'll go ahead and turn on automatic update. And we'll skip the internet connection because there isn't one right now. We will choose not to register. I'll just go ahead and put admin again. The owner can change it after they pick it up. Finish. Okay, and we've got our start menu open for the first time. So I think one of the first things I want to do is try and get our wired network connection going, and we'll see if it makes a connection. And I guess even if it does, there's probably not a whole lot that I'll be able to do on here because I don't know that I'll even be able to get to Dell's website with the old version of Internet Explorer that's on here. And, you know, Chrome is not supported anymore. They have an old version that'll run, which I guess is better than the default Internet Explorer. But we'll work on getting some of these drivers installed. Actually, let's see what it needs first of all. I'm just interested to see what is missing. There's a few things: Ethernet controller, audio, PCI modem, video controller. So I'll grab those off of Dell's website and probably end up just putting them on a flash drive and installing them that way. But it might be fun to see if we can even get to the website from here. So let me grab the Ethernet cable. And we'll go ahead and let's see, we'll get that plugged in. Okay. And it is recognizing that something's plugged in. Our icon disappeared. So let's look and see if it connected. And one of the first things I always like to do is switch this back to classic. I just like that a lot. So let's see. I have to remember where things are. Network connections. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, 100 megs. Makes sense. Looks like everything's good. So I did just see that pop up telling us that we're not activated, so we'll go ahead and go to properties on my computer. Actually, I don't even remember how to do that. Activation. That's where it is now in XP. I mean in Windows 10. Okay, well we have our little keys over here. We can click on that. Well, let's see if it'll activate over the internet. No, I do not want to register. Unable to establish a connection. Well, let's just see if we can even get to anything. Yeah, we're good. We have DNS and we can get out to ping Google. So I don't know why it's not working. Maybe they just shut down the activation servers because this is so old. Let's hit retry just for the fun of it. We'll see if it can do it. No. Well, let's do our telephone activation, I guess. We'll see if that works. I think I have heard that it does. Okay, United States. Oh, that is a long thing to have to type in. Well, I'll call this number and we'll see if we can get it activated, and then we'll come back after that. Hopefully they will work with me, so I'll let you know. Okay, good news, it does work. You can go through the telephone activation and contact Microsoft, and they will still activate XP. Another nice thing is that they give you the activation code that you type into the activation window. All those numbers they tell you on the phone, make sure you write this down, you can use it again in the future. So that's really helpful if you have multiple machines that you're working on. You can just write down that activation code, then you don't have to spend all that time on the phone. So now that we're activated, one of the things that I like to do when I'm setting up a new installation of Windows XP is to make a copy of the installation CD on the hard drive, because sometimes you go to install a feature or something and it says that you need to install the, or you need to insert the CD. So I just copy this i386 folder, and that tends to have everything in it that you would need. So we'll go back to my computer, the C drive, show the contents, and I'll just paste that right here. We'll wait for that to copy, and then that way if you try to install extra features in the future, if it says to put in the disk, then you can just point to that folder and it should be able to find what it's looking for, and you won't need the disk, because in this case, like I said earlier, this is for a customer and they're not going to get the disk with it. That's something that I keep in the shop. So this way, if they need to install any features, they have all the files that they should need on the computer already. So that's going to take some time to copy, so I'll just come back once that's finished. Okay, so that folder finished copying, so we're going to go ahead and just eject, a little scratch there, we're just going to eject the CD drive. Oh, you couldn't really see that too well, but anyway, we're going to take our installation CD out now that we're all done with that. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back into the protective sleeve, and then I'm also going to put our product key in the envelope so that I don't forget about it. And I'm just going to set that out. I'm going to leave that card to dry for a minute. It's one of those gel pens that smudges if it's not all the way dry. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you, in case you are not familiar, this is how you find all the drivers that need to go on this computer. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is to flip the computer over, and I don't know if it's going to do anything weird since I shut the lid. So we're going to get our service tag, which is on this little sticker right here. So let me just type that in real quick. Okay, so that's all we need off of this. So I'll go ahead and open that back up. Okay, so we've got our service tag number. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and we're going to go over to the service desk computer, which you can see to your right, and we'll just quickly go over how to get the drivers off the Dell website. Okay, so what you want to do is go to dell.com/support, and then when that comes up you'll have a page that looks kind of like this, and then right in the middle it says enter service tag number. So we have that entered in, and we're just going to go ahead and hit enter. And that will pull up all of the information pertinent to this computer. So what we want, okay, well actually it says that it couldn't find it. So I'm just going to make sure I didn't key that service tag in wrong. I'll be right back. Okay, I did in fact key it in wrong. So now that we have the correct service tag, we can see it did pull up our Inspiron 1000, which the warranty expired in 2006, just a fun fact. So then we want to go over to drivers and downloads, and then we'll have Windows XP selected from the list, and then we'll leave it on all. And for some reason it looks like the only thing that it's showing is a BIOS update, which was released in 2005. So I'm going to poke around on here a little bit and just see if we can find some of the other drivers that are missing, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's a new day, so let's see if this download site wants to work now. So again, it's dell.com/support, and then just put in your service tag. We have it here under recent because we just did that yesterday. Then we'll go over to drivers and downloads. And then for some reason, nothing shows up if you say show drivers for this service tag, so I had to turn that off, and then things show up, so that's kind of unusual. There's a thing up here called Dell Driver Reset Tool, so I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I read the description and it kind of sounds like it's just going to install all the drivers at once. So I'm not sure, but we'll go ahead and download that. Yay, it works today. So they must have just been having a server error yesterday. So we've got that driver reset tool, and I'll also grab the BIOS just to make sure that that's up to date. I didn't actually look at that last time. Actually, we can check that right now. So let's turn the laptop back on. And the latest BIOS is A08. So let's see. Oh, I didn't catch it there. I'll just try to run it anyway. Odds are it's not updated. So anyway, I'm going to copy our downloads to a flash drive that I have formatted FAT32. It probably will work with the NTFS also. Actually, yeah, I know it will because XP did use NTFS. But I just have it as FAT32 because that's what you need if you need to share the drive with a Mac, because they can read from NTFS, but they can't write to it. So I'm just going to use that drive. We'll get everything copied over and we'll see if we can get it installed. Alright, we've got our flash drive in there. So let's go ahead and open that. And I don't know which one's which, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy these to the desktops. Sometimes things can be a little bit weird if you run them off of an external drive and it expects to be run off of the C drive. So that way we have everything copied. And if you can see down there, wireless networks detected, I was able to get the driver for the Linksys card that's in the PCMCIA slot over there. So we'll pull our flash drive out, close out of this, and then I'll just pick one of these, I guess. I don't know which one's which. This is the BIOS upgrade, so we'll just go ahead and run that, and we'll see what it says. Okay, just click yes. remove any media. Okay. Yes, reboot now. So that should go ahead and update the system BIOS. And I don't remember what version it was already on. I didn't catch it when it booted up. If it even displays it, I don't know if this model does. But it's overwriting it anyway, so we should have the current BIOS, which was released, I'm just looking over on the other screen, March 2005. Okay, yeah, I'm looking around. It doesn't actually say on that screen what version it is. So we'll just assume that it worked, because it didn't give me an error. And it did boot back up, so that's always a good sign. So next, we'll try that driver reset tool. Like I said, I'm not really sure what that actually is, but it sounds from the description like it's going to be an all-in-one driver package. So we'll get that started here and we'll just find out what it actually does. I'm just going to go to custom real quick and just see. Oh, there's nothing you can even choose. So we'll do complete. Hello. I forgot in Windows XP about all these lovely pop-up balloons. Okay, finish. Close another balloon. And then we're done with these, so I'll just delete those. Where's the delete button? Oh, it's all the way down by the arrow keys. So I don't know what that did. Let's see if there's a program. Dell accessories. Here we go. Driver reset tool. So let's see what it's all about. Oh. Drivers are not installed. Attempt to repair. Yes. 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 Well, it's doing something. The hard drive lights blinking. Scan complete. Okay. Well, apparently it's going to reboot. So hopefully it worked. That would be really convenient if that's all we had to do, because it does list all of those device drivers separately. And it's not really that hard to download each one individually and install it, but if it can do them all at once, that really is very convenient. So I guess if it doesn't come up and give us a status report or anything, I'll just go back into Device Manager. And then we'll just see if there's any question marks or little, oh, found new hardware. I think that's a good thing. Oh. I don't know. Let me just look real quick and see. Alright, well, we still have our little question marks. So we'll see. I don't know if you're supposed to wait for it to do something or if we should go through with this. Cannot install. Well, let's try not connect to the internet because it didn't work last time. Cannot install. So I don't know what this driver reset thing did, but it didn't seem to help. Problem occurred. Yeah. I wonder if it just put the drivers somewhere. And then we have to... Well, that might be... Oh, that's just that. I don't really know what that did. No, they still have question marks. So I guess that didn't work, so I'll just go and grab those drivers individually from the download website. Alright, we've got everything downloaded. So again, I'm just going to copy everything to the desktop so that it's running off the C drive in case it needs that. And we'll go ahead and eject our flash drive. Okay. And then we'll just start going through the list, I guess. Here's our modem. And it's going to force us to restart the computer. Sometimes it says, would you like to restart? And you can choose later if you're doing multiple drivers, but that one, they were not nice. They didn't ask. They just said, you will reboot now. Okay, let us move on to the next one, whichever that may be. And it is our analog devices. I think that was the integrated, what was it? Audio. That is our integrated audio from Analog Devices. Wow, what a beautiful picture. That looks like it's from Windows 95. Thank you for telling me wireless networks were detected. I don't want to connect to one right now. Thank you. Okay, what's going on? It's kind of not really doing anything. Well, I'll just wait a minute. Oh. Okay, well, it's thinking about something. There we go. So this one's nice and it's asking us. So we will restart later since we have a couple more drivers to install. Let's see what this one is. Integrated graphics. That's a good one to have. And while we're waiting for this to install, I was able to find the wireless card driver, as you could see from the pop-ups. Wow, this background, I don't really know what to say about that. Anyway, so I was able to find the driver. It just found it using that found new hardware thing, and it just located it from the internet somehow, and it looked like it was the correct version. It had the right hardware revision. It seems to function. I was not able to download it from the Linksys website. I went to the support page for that model, and all of the... Oh, we have audio. Did you hear that USB noise? But anyway, all the download links are... Well, there aren't any there. It says click here for downloads for this model, and you click on it and there's nothing there. So I guess they don't offer those anymore, or I was looking in the wrong place. But luckily we were able to get them from the newfound hardware wizard, because I don't think this laptop has integrated Wi-Fi. And although that card is just wireless G, that should pretty much be compatible with anything people have these days, because everything's backwards compatible with G. And that would be perfectly fine just for light browsing or whatever. Restart later. And finally... Oh yeah, I wasn't sure what this one was. It just said system software, so I don't know. We'll see. It might be like QuickSet or something. Okay, and now we can restart because that's the last driver, or whatever that was. There's that wonderful sound we all know and love. That's one unfortunate thing when you're doing a fresh installation is if there's no audio drivers, you don't get to listen to that nice out-of-box music during the setup. Music to my ears. And actually, I do have to comment that the performance on this is actually really good. I didn't even notice it. It seems perfectly responsive and quick. It boots up pretty fast, and just using it seems to be pretty fast. Alright, let's see what this is. System software utility. And stuff about drivers for the video card. System property. That's just a shortcut to computer name, which wasn't even the general tab. Really unusual. I don't know what that is. I'll leave it there, but I don't think it's very useful. And we do have 448 megabytes of available RAM and a 2.2 gigahertz Intel Celeron CPU. So, yeah, it could be worse. Not bad for XP, depending on what this is going to be used for and how many RAM slots are on it. We may consider upgrading the memory, but it is working pretty well just as it is now. So I'll go ahead and just empty the recycle bin of all those driver files. That's our trash can sound. Let's see. Yeah, so I think it's pretty much cleaned up now. We've got all the drivers on there. I'm not really going to do that much else. We'll let the customer handle it. It's out of support, so I don't think Windows Update's even going to work, but we do have Service Pack 3. They can install antivirus if they want to. But like I said, I think I said earlier in the video, they just wanted to run some old software that's not compatible with modern computers. It has to have Windows XP and 32-bit, and they don't want to do virtualization, so this was a solution. So hope it works out well for them. I think that's going to do it for the setup. It's pretty much ready to go. So we'll go ahead and shut down. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm glad that we finally got to wrap this up. I've been working on this one for a while. We had those issues at the beginning with it not wanting to run that installation for whatever reason. So we've got a new disk, working product key, we're all good to go. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Have a great day.